What's up, everybody? It's your boy Wings of Redemption, and I'm back bringing you some Call of Duty 4 gameplay. I want to go ahead and talk about whooping a motherfucking ass. So I'm talking about beating an ass. I have a story about my brother, and it's pretty much beating up a very flamboyant young man, and I do not want to give his name, thinking about it off the top of my head. But my brother did kick a guy's ass, so let's go ahead and set the setting of this ass beating itself. My grandfather just recently died. Not recently, but at the time of the story, he had just recently died. And basically, my grandfather's kids, because he was he was, his kids were making a huge deal about his funeral. Like, they were trying to steal up all his stuff. What my grandfather died of was something called brain cancer. There's no technical, it was a technical name for it, I just can't remember it off the top of my head. But he ended up dying of brain cancer. So it was a slow death. He died very slowly. And he died on his couch and stuff. And what would happen is his kids were sitting and waiting around for him to die so they could snatch up everything that he had, all his earthly possessions, and make sure that the people that actually lived with him most of his life, my grandmother, me, my mother, who actually dealt with him on a day in and day out basis instead of just coming around for Christmas, got none of his inheritance. So, stuff aside, this is how it got set. His family was trying to protect their inheritance, while our family was just trying to live because he lived next to us and we've always been there for him. So it kind of created a little bit of animosity towards us, because we kind of didn't like stuff. There's other things that actually happened too. Like, for example, my mother's car got stolen by one of them and they burnt it, but there's no way we can prove that. So, this is just, pointing the finger. I know you did it, but I can't prove that you did it kind of thing. Well, my grandfather eventually does pass away. And what happens is we go to the funeral. He has this nice, elaborate casket. Everybody, the insurance company ended up paying for it. Really good casket, had a nice fish on it and all. But they didn't appreciate that we showed up to the funeral as well. And, dude, they were very unhappy. Well, mainly just his kids, but he had only daughters. He had two daughters and one son. His son didn't show up, so only the people that showed up was his daughters. And his daughters showed up with their kids. And there's only one boy out of all the kids. So I guess the female gene ran rampant over there. Because the only boy there was the one in question. I don't want to give his name out. But he wants to start wilding out. And me and my brother are there. So me and Crook are there. And, we're in the morning stage. And Kyle comes in after the service is over. He wasn't there for the service. He came in after the service is over, pointing fingers with his hand on his hip. And boy, my brother just levels the shit out of him, son. It's one of those moments where you just stand there and you're looking like, what the fuck did I just see? I mean, it just came out of nowhere. Kyle was very aggressive, and he was talking about beating people up. And my brother, he just took it and ran with it. I mean, he just hit him, and it was like one of those slow-mo effects where you just see like the movies where like the fist just conforms to the face, and he just tears his head off. And I'm all like, whoa. Oh, man. So we ended up having to get out of there. But, yeah, my brother ended up beating somebody up at my grandfather's funeral. I mean, that's some of the redneck shit that happens around my house. It's ridiculous. After telling the story, I realized that I'm not very good at telling stories. I need to really work on that, especially with what I'm doing here. But yeah, my brother did end up beating Kyle up at a funeral of my grandfather's, and they got really upset. I mean, the family relations were already strange, but then you have them basically humiliating their son that I think he is now a girl. I'm not sure because I know he was going through the change at the time, and I think he's actually a female at this point in time in his life. It's a fucked up world. It really is. Call of Duty's went down the drain, and people are turning into girls. But you kind of see that when they're playing with Barbies instead of baseballs. Don't buy your kids Barbies. That's the moral of the story of the day. Thank you for watching my video. Don't buy Barbies. Welcome. Thank you for choosing my mediocre gameplay for your viewing needs today. And I want to go ahead and go down a medical list of some of the things that obesity does to your body and see how they affect me. This is done 100% through a medical journal, and let's see how these things actually affect me. So it's going to go ahead, without further ado, we're going to go ahead and run through them. The very first one, yeah, damn it. Okay, let's just do it backwards. Is a shrinking wallet. It seems to be that almost people that are overweight or obese make $5,000 less a year than people who aren't. Well, this one doesn't affect me, at least not right now, because for the most part, most of my adult life, I've had a really good paying job. And I think a lot of that goes with determination. I mean, I think on average, the numbers are actually lower because people that are obese tend to have a, I mean, let's be honest, stereotypes are stereotypes for a reason. You know, most people that are obese have some sort of, lazy streak in them, or, a motivation deficiency in their whole everyday life. So when that comes around, they don't self-motivate real well. And I think that 100% with medical gap, with the shrinking wallet. The medical gap. Well, this one right here, this one scares me because I don't think I've ever had this one affect me, because every time I've ever been to a doctor, I've had really good doctors. But I'm also not an asshole, so. But it said 67% of overweight men would report they'd be shamed or bullied at the doctor's office. 50% of the doctors found that patients were awkward, ugly, weak-willed, and unlikely to comply with treatment, while 24% of nurses said they were repulsed by their obese patients. Yeah, doctors fucking suck, so I'm going to go with that. So I'm 1 for 2 right now. Tough love. Though fat people are often but the joke, obesity stigma is no laughing matter. A Yale study found that the weight of number one of the people that were bullied at age is increased by 80%. Yeah, bullying sucks, so I'm 2 for 3. I mean, yeah. Less shut-eye, hell no, I sleep like a fucking baby. Premature birth risk, fuck it, I use condoms. Infertility increases 100%, so that's 3 of whatever, because I'm using condoms. More cancer, don't have cancer. More migraines. Man, I've never had a migraine in my whole life. I don't even know what a migraine is. I'm an asshole when it comes to this, but I see people that complain about migraines, and I'm like, do you even know what a migraine is? Because, like, it's out of the blue, and I don't know what they're feeling like, but for some reason, every time I feel like somebody complain about a migraine, it's one of those things that they're looking to do it for attention. And I'm saying this because, let's go back a little bit. For those who've been watching my channel for a while, I used to date a girl named Shalene. And Shalene, after a while, developed this thing called tuberosoma cerebri. And she acted like it would kill her. But it was so one of those things that it only came around when it was convenient. And you've ever seen people that do that convenient mess, where it's like, oh, I don't want you to do this, I want you to pay attention to me, oh, my head hurts. That kind of deal. Oh, I don't want to go see the horror movie, my head hurts. But as soon as a motherfucking, Nicholas Sparks movie comes out, you know where Jordy's fat ass is at? He's at the theater watching a Nicholas Sparks movie. Ugh. It's crappy. And, and like, I look at migraines a lot like that. I'm not trying to say people don't have migraines. I'm just saying that people will use that kind of thing to kind of get their way, and like I feel like a lot of people are in that ballpark. So let's go and see that. That's number 8. Let's go see what the one. And the number 1 effect is pills. Luckily, I'm not on any pills, and I'm going to go ahead and say this, since I don't really like to talk about my weight a lot, because it feels like I'm beating a broken record when I talk about my weight on my channel. But let's go along and say this: I currently don't take any pills. I'm in perfect health. The only thing I have is a high normal heartbeat. Normal heartbeat goes from 60 to 100 beats per minute. I'm sitting around the 85 to 90 ballpark on the average. And luckily this doesn't affect me. Only like 3 of the 9 or 10 things I just listed actually affects me. So I'm in pretty good shape in that thing. And I was sitting there thinking in the shower the other day, I'm 27 now. I'm not 40. I'm not 38. I mean, I'm 27 years old. I mean, I might look older because of a beard, but I'm not. And if I would lose weight this year, losing weight would be being fat would be a period of my life and not my entire life. And hopefully that's the route I'm going to go. I have one big addiction lately that's been hard to lose, and it's been fast food. and I need to do that. It's just because of convenience. It's so convenient when you have a fucked up sleep pattern like me to jump out and get fast food. I didn't skip weigh-in Wednesday. I did skip weigh-in Wednesday, but I didn't skip it like theoretically. I weighed myself and everything, and I'll just bring you the video next week with like a 2-week update. But yeah. Also, this is for people that stayed to the end of the video. I'm looking for people to shoot guns and hang out Sunday in Laura, South Carolina. If you can, send me a message on YouTube or Twitter. As always, this has been your boy Wings of Redemption. Thank you for watching my video. Thank you for your continued support. And thank you for watching without ad block. My videos are designed to be watched in the highest resolution that you can possibly watch them in. That's what they're designed for. This game was the first game I had on my new connection. Peace!
Hey guys, it's your boy Wings of Redemption, and I wanted to go ahead and talk about the Santa Barbara shooting a little bit more in depth, because at this point I've actually got the time to see the video, and for some reason I can't get the thing off my mind in total. I want to go across a couple things I've seen with the video and talk about it a little bit, and hopefully get some of your guys' feedback. Because one, let me do a little disclaimer here. I'm not the kind of guy who's perplexed with like serial killers or anything like that. I don't follow Ted Bundy. I don't follow like Richard Dahmer or you know, John Wayne Gacy or anybody like that. And I don't really try to idolize people that, you know, do these mass shootings, because to me it's fucking pointless. This guy right here could have easily looked up the job description of a hooker. He'd been alright. But I think the problem goes a little bit deeper than that. I want to talk about that. I'm going to create some bulletin points, and hopefully you guys agree. So let's go ahead and jump into this. Just in case somebody ever watched the other video or my driving vlog yesterday, the basis of this is you have a 22-year-old male who has a father who helped direct the Hunger Games. So he's pretty well off. He has plenty of disposable income. He has a very nice car, has access to firearms and other things, and he's just unhappy with life. He's a stereotypical person that generally people look at and could not be unhappy with life. I'm gonna try to defend his position a little bit, but at the same time, you cannot justify the position that he's asking you to defend. And I don't think this guy is a great person whatsoever. So don't get me wrong on the right foot. I'm just going to relate with him. So, a person that has this kind of good life, and he pretty much he came off very egotistical. If you haven't guys watched the video is actually on worldstarhiphop.com right now. I'll probably leave that description in the link below. Somebody actually shared that with me. But I was walking yesterday and I was listening to this guy. So I didn't watch the video. I listened to it. And he sounds like a comic book villain. He seriously does. He sounds like everything was scripted and was pre-written, and he's trying to portray a character in himself. And in the video himself, he blames females, or specifically sexy blonde women that have sex, and males that actually are sexually active, for all the humanity, for all the slaying he's about to do. And like, this has to be a cop-out, dude. This cannot be real. You can't blame guys for having sex, just like you can't blame girls for having a preference. To blame a woman for having a preference on who she goes out with is just like to blame yourself for having a preference who you want to go out with. Some people are not compatible. And I don't feel like this guy found who he's compatible with. So let's go to this next point I want to make right here. His attitude is what destroyed his ability to pull women, not his actual assets. He has plenty of disposable income. He's not a bad looking guy. And you know me, I'm like 15-20% gay. I love a pretty penis in my porn. I'm not afraid to admit that a guy is good looking. And he is. He would classify as a good looking guy. But as a borderline 400-pound guy who's had dating trouble in his life, I have to tell you, what kind of clicked with me and what made me realize, like, you know, reason I wasn't getting girls was 100% confidence, attitude. When my attitude is foul and shitty, nobody wants to be around me. When my attitude is good and I'm showing excitement and I have actual feelings and emotions, it's hard to keep people away from me. The way you interact with people is the way they perceive you. Let's take sex, for example, since sex is the outlying measure here with this guy. To me, sex isn't fun unless the girl is excited and exuberant to be there. It makes it a fun experience, or you make a fun experience for her. If those two things click, you have sex more often than you would if you're just, you know, Billy Badass sitting mad at the club. But with that being said, his attitude was there, dude. If you watch the video that I'm gonna leave for you in the description, it's his ego is way through the roof. He feels like he should be pulling supermodel material, when realistically, you shouldn't judge a woman by her looks. There's so many other things that you can find a decent woman with that you'll enjoy, you'll love, you'll like, and she might not be for everybody. Let's say a woman is a 6, or hell, let's say a woman is a 5, mediocre, run-of-the-mill, works at the country store kind of woman. You know, every other woman out there looks just like her. Every other woman out there can be beautiful or even more beautiful than her. Looks are only 1% of the package. It's also about how well the person makes you feel. And I don't think this guy took into account anything of that nature on how somebody makes you feel. A person that that actually cares about you, sits with you through the thick and thin. A person that cares enough to call you when you're a depressed asshole. When you feel like the world's coming down on you, when you're in these moods or this situation like this guy was in, that's the kind of person that you almost have to love, not that you want to love, because those type of people make life better. And you know what? You know, Bare Minerals and Olive Olay and all these other things, they can't make that kind of person. That kind of person comes from the heart, and to 100% dismiss this person because you're a shallow, arrogant prick that feels the need that he is the one that's sanctioned or destroyed on the inside. It's atrocious, dude. It really is. It's atrocious. And it's a shame that people had to die because this guy had these feelings this way. And it has to be a product of the media. It does. Like, you see so many girls that become anorexic or have eating disorders because these magazines, they put these photoshopped women on these covers that take away the fat rolls or the cellulite or the scars. I remember seeing a picture of Teresa Capote, Long Island medium, and she has all these like little freckles on her shoulder and stuff. All those are gone, and it makes you think, why did I don't know. I'm getting flustered with this subject, but the attitude right there is one of the things that kind of just hit with me. He has a really shitty attitude and a really poor, bent outlook on life, which will bring me to my next point: parenting. Where the hell was this kid's parents at? For a kid to constantly be in this kind of state of mind, you have to kind of see it coming. And I read a Huffington Post article which talked about the Rogers parents went to the police to try and get this guy help, and the police talked to him, and they concerned that he was a helpful guy that didn't have very many friends and never had a girlfriend. And with that being said, is that enough? I mean, to just kind of go to the police. I don't have the utmost respect for the police as I should. I have an authoritarian problem, all in all. But the fact is, I don't think this is a police problem even to begin with. I feel like this is a problem that the parents should be able to handle. And this problem isn't rooted for the police, and here's the reason why. The reason this guy is like this is the way he was brought up. A person that's in a positive household, a person that's around positivity, a person that sees and becomes positive things isn't going to be this kind of person. Granted, there could be a chance you could turn into this kind of person in that kind of environment, but I just don't see it happening. Let's take, for example, I know hindsight is 20/20, but let's say I become this guy's father. Well, I have a 22-year-old kid, I don't know if he lives with me or not. I don't know that about him. But let's say I have a 22-year-old kid that's going through these kind of things. I would sit down and talk to this guy. When I sat down and talked to him, and he told me, well, I would first off, he probably wouldn't tell you what was wrong with him, because a guy that's like this is probably shy to begin with. So the guy wouldn't tell you what was wrong with him. You had to sit there and make him tell you what was wrong with him. And when you got it out of him that he was unhappy with his sex life and that he feels like no girls liked him and he really would like sex, you go buy that motherfucker a hooker. You do. I would have bought him. I would have bought him a hooker without shame, because there's no shame in doing that. You know why there's no shame in doing that? Because it saves lives. It saves people like this. This guy is obsessing over something he has never had. He wants to experience. He wants the whole package. He wants the love. He wants the devotion. He wants the caringness. Well, he says he wants the old package, but he kind of harps on the sex part of it. So what? Why don't you take the doubt out of his mind? Is this worth killing somebody over with? And once he's had it, and once he's got it, he's either going to become one or two things. He's going to be a sex addict, or he's going to be the kind of guy that that realizes that, you know, sex is fun. Sex is a great activity, but is by no means enough to kill somebody over. And you would at least gave him what he thinks everybody else has that he doesn't have. Go buy that boy a hooker. Hell, if you don't want to do that, at least get one of. You're a director, for sake. You're a Hollywood director. I'm sure you could have introduced him to somebody. But like I said, there's a lot of variables here I don't know about it. Like I mean, his personality was very harsh. Like he really went out like a comic book villain. And I think that right there's what scared most girls away. But even then, I know girls that keep going back to wife beaters, other than AKA the Supreme Gentleman. So you have females going to wife beaters over and over and over again, but you can't get this guy a girl because he's a little bit creepy. I mean, look at the. Matter of fact, there was a news story that just popped in my head of a Georgia couple that lived in squalor, pure tea filth, roaches, pissy diapers, sheets, no air, no water, no AC, no HVAC is the same thing. They lived in squalor, but the fact is they were still having babies and having sex. How can that dude get pussy and the guy with a 5 Series Benz can't? There has to be parenting issues there. Has to be. And just because the guy's 22 doesn't mean you don't have to be a parent anymore. Just because he's quote unquote by society a grown ass man doesn't mean he can still be a child in his mind. This guy needed a parent, and I don't think he had a parent. I think he had a father that was never there, and I think he had a mother that just didn't care. And they tried to fill the hole with the lack of time they spent with him, with nice cars, nice clothes, and they never really supervised him or cared about any of his activities. So truthfully and truth, he probably did feel alone in the world, and then he desired one thing from watching internet porn over and over and over again. But like I said, this is all speculation. I do not know the guy. I'm only seeing what the patterns that are laid out before me. I think this is a very fucked up situation, and I think I usually don't like. I'm usually not one of those guys like, well, blame the guns. The guns killed people, or like blame the parents for a shitty person. But this guy is way too young to be doing these mass killings. If this guy was like 35, fuck no, don't blame the parents. The parents ain't got nothing to do with this anymore. You can't blame daddy because your life sucks at 35, because at that point you've had enough influence of your own life to realize what life is going to be. But at 22. You're kind of getting out on your own at that point. You know, life is big, the world is scary, and it's this conundrum of possibilities. And I feel like his parents should have been there more. But yeah, I just wanted to go a little bit more in depth on this situation. It was really one of those situations that I found odd, and I just couldn't get off my mind or stop thinking about. What do you guys feel about this video? Let me know. Also, I'm looking for people to play Operation Raccoon City on the PlayStation 3. If you want to send me a message at unlimited-UAV, please feel free. And I'm Audi 5000. Peace, pimps. What? Yeah! What's up, son? It's your boy Wings of Redemption. Bringing it to you live and correct with the flow. You see, I got my boy Crow, got Zero, and I don't know, Asterisk J Flow. I guess they all kind of rhyme in a way. But that's not what I want to talk about today. Looking like the old tree from Dragon Age. I don't know. I haven't got nothing more like that. But today, I would like to talk about girls. So let's talk about girls. For me, I've been in probably 5 or 6 relationships in my life. I'm currently 28 years old. And during that period, I've come to recognize that I'm not very good at relationships. And you might say, well, Wings, you're fat, and, you know, it's kind of expected. Well, that's not even the case. It's not even the case at all. Me, personality, one thing I struggle with my own personality is dealing with females in general. Like, females generally want a lot of attention. Obviously, that's a given, that they would like a lot of attention. But On the flip side of it, I don't want to give them a lot of attention, and you kind of draw that line between being lonely and making sacrifices. So, all right, you don't want to be lonely. Let's make some sacrifices. How far of sacrifices do you actually give? Let me give the scenario to you. I'm currently talking to this girl, and while I'm talking to her, she wanted me to come over tonight and watch the Braves. Well, she drops this on me around 5:30, 6 o'clock. And by this time, I'm already settled in. I know I got to play some Call of Duty tonight. I know I got to get some gameplay. And I want to get some commentaries up because, one, I really want to get back into the groove of things with you guys. I want to get back to a fun, entertaining level with you guys. And that takes devotion. That takes hard work. That takes dedication. So I go, I can't go it tonight. And this proceeds to be a 5-inning conversation. Because keep in mind, I was watching the Braves. You know, gotta watch the Braves even though they lose. And they put bad pitchers up like Gavin Floyd. And give them nice contracts like, Urban Santana and shit like that. But, whatever. We spend money all the time. We pay $75 million for a guy who jogs to balls and can't hit worth a shit. But that's the Braves for you. That's another story. But she goes through 5 innings of like, if you wanted to be with me, you'd make time for me. What kind of bullshit is this? What is that? If you wanted to be with me, you would make time for me. This is a two-way street. I was sitting there trying to explain this to her for 5 innings, that if you wanted to be with me, you could very easily come over. You're very allowed to come over, but for some reason you want me to go to you. And I understand that you got to make sacrifices. But what point is there? Like, every time I've seen her, other than like one other time, I've had to go to her. Why is that? I understand that she might not like coming to my place because, one, I have my sister and my mother and her boyfriend live here with me, which that's going to change soon. But on the flip side of it, you got her place, which is very small. There's no computer there, and there's no way I could ever do any type of work at her house. Zero. So I needed to be at my house to do some work. I tried to explain this to her, and it came with a, oh, I understand. And they always leave with that bullshit, that I understand bullshit. What do you understand? I don't know. Nothing. Why the fuck did you say you understood? Women are confusing. I understand there's a million people out there that probably understand where I'm coming from. But why do girls always do this? Why do girls ask you what you're doing, and then you go, do you want me to come over? She goes, do you want to? Why can't you just say yes, bitch? Just say yes. That's all you gotta do. You want me to come over? That's me asking if you still want me to come over. Say yes. If you go, would you like to come over? I don't go, do you want me to come over? I automatically assume that you want me to come over. You would not ask. So you know what I do? If I want to come over, I say yes. And like, I can't stand this about things. Like, I read this this thing on the internet. I think it's by Buff or something like that, where it shows like 10 signs that you're in a failing relationship. And like, I'm reading these things and like, damn, every relationship I've ever had's been a failing relationship. I mean, just look at some of the things they actually want you to do in a relationship. Like, the very first one, I kid you not, the very first one was hang on to her every word. What the fuck? Hang on to her every word? Seriously? How many guys out there hang on to their every word? This is some fucking Sex in the City, Hollywood made up bullshit. This has to be. I've seen other people in relationships. I've seen how they play out. They don't hang on to every word. They don't. I've seen married people, and they don't hang on to every word. Matter of fact, I had married people that lived with me for 2 months. They didn't hang on every word that each other one said. Generally, they tried to get away from each other and deal with other people. But let's go ahead and basically, I've got a mind fart right now. Entertain that we're going to hang on to every word. They're not that fucking interesting some of the times. I mean, like, they're people just like you and me. Here's hanging on every word. How about this one? Any of you guys out there in a relationship, you'll know about this conversation. What about the conversation when you have, you have plans, you want to go out and eat, but you don't know where you want to eat at? So what do? You turn to your girl, you go, "Hey baby, where you like to eat at tonight?" What do they say? What do they say? I know you know it. Tell me about it. It's, "I don't know." I'm supposed to hang on your every word. And most of the time your word is, "I don't know," or "I don't care." How the fuck am I supposed to hang on to those words? I'd rather hang myself than hang on to those words. It is annoying. I don't know. For real, I don't know. Maybe men's magazines are fucking bullshit. Maybe online men's magazines are fucking bullshit. But it just seems silly how women have this like double talk, and like you see it on Facebook all the time. There's those 5 words that you always dread: fine, nothing, go ahead. You know, just these womanisms that they have, and all of them have it, and it's ridiculous. And maybe I'm not meant to be in a relationship. I've always thought about that. Maybe I'm just not the kind of person that needs to be in a relationship. But at the same time, you don't want to be lonely. So where's that happy medium? Do you find somebody that's actually into what you're into? Because I've never met a girl that's actually into what I'm into. What am I into? I'm into the Atlanta Braves and video games. Well, I don't think they make too many girls like that. So how many times have you guys ever basically bent over backwards to try to impress a girl? Tell me about it in the comment section below. What's the stupidest thing you've done to try to change your personality to impress a girl, only to realize that it was futile, and in the end, neither one of you were happy? I'd really like to know. You guys should let me know the best story wins. But this is a type of gameplay I played right here, and I put on sleight of hand, and when I put on sleight of hand, it made me want to actually push and be a little bit more aggressive. What do you guys think about this gameplay? Let me know in the comment section below, right after you tell me about your love stories, because yeah, I need a good read. Peace, people. Well, welcome, gentlemen. It's your boy Wings of Redemption, and I'm bringing you a pretty cool gameplay I got today. I was playing with my buddy Darth Carpet. I decided to hop on the PS3 today and play a little bit before my doctor's appointment, and I got a really good game. Well, at least a really good game in my standards. But I want to talk about this sickness that I recently got, or this infection that I got, really changed my perspective on a lot of things in life. It made me realize that the things that I thought were important weren't actually important, because I had to start questioning myself in certain departments. And like some of the things that were really, really important to me all of a sudden became less important to me. Me, a week ago, would have told you that financial security and money is the most important thing you can have. And the reason behind that would be mainly because it reduces stress. I hate stress, and I have this OCD borderline level fear of failure. I hate letting people down. I do. I'm the kind of guy that if I tell you I can do something and I can't do it, I beat myself up. I do. I beat myself up over and over and over again because I felt like I've let you down. And that kind of stuff bothers me. But coming across material things has kind of gotten into the way of actual life. And like, well, let me just kind of explain it in a slower, more detailed way. The situation with the boil. For most people have seen in the comment section, my channel's not doing as well as it used to do. And that's from a bunch of different factors. The main one is YouTube changing an algorithm. And pretty much I don't get as many not residual views, long tail views. So the lack of long tail views and stuff like that, just changing and adapting to the times. But so it's kind of put a little strain on the finances, but I'm still getting along. And when I got the sore, instead of going to a doctor immediately, I tried to fix it myself because that was the cheaper alternative. And what was a small problem turned into a big problem really quickly. And I got me thinking to the point where, hopefully you guys are still with me, I got me thinking to the point where, what good is money and what good is credit if you're not alive to use it? But my perspective on credit has changed dramatically as well over the years. I'll talk about that in a little bit. And it got me thinking, like, well, if I go to the doctor, I could go broke. But if I don't go to the doctor, I could die. Because at this point, I didn't know what I had. I knew I had a sore. I knew it was red. And generally, red means infection. And it was getting to the point it was fire engine red. Coca-Cola red. It hurt. It did. It's I think the only way it could hurt worse was if it was in my penis or something like that. That's the only way I could feel like it would hurt worse. The spot I got it in, the area of affection that got it, I mean, it was literally the size of 2 or 3 golf balls worth of infection underneath my skin. It was just hard as a rock. I showed pictures of it on Twitter. If you scale back far enough, you'll see it. I don't really want to put them on this video itself, mainly because the boil video, which you can actually see too. I can link the boil video to you. It is 18 plus, so be warned. It's not going to be a pretty sight. It was really, really, really bad. It hurt. It hurt to walk. The pores on the pores themselves of my actual skin were so sore and inflated. You could see everywhere hair could grow out, because that's the only thing that was actually holding itself down. Very gruesome stuff. But it got me thinking, like, I had to sit a joke of, like, do I try to save money or do I try to save my life? And it made me treasure more things lately. Like, I know a lot of people got a surprise, but while I was sitting here not being able to basically walk, I decided to start reading in my inbox. I decided to start tackling the 82,000 messages I have in my inbox. And, like, hell, I'll show you a screenshot of it. You know, it's not the best picture in the world, but, you know, I kind of exaggerate. It was 15,200. But I started doing that. I was like, you know, these people took the time to write me a message. I should take the time out of my day and go ahead and try to respond to the ones that I can respond to. I mean, some people write stuff to me that are beyond silly. But, you know, I'm gonna try to respond more. I can't promise, but I'm going to try to respond more. I'll try to interact more too. I mean, because I'm kind of missing the whole point of YouTube, and I understand the point of YouTube. I do. Like, the point of YouTube is to interact and have fun and share things that you are passionate about, and I kind of lost track of that years ago. Went and tried to almost, you know, principalize the dollar. The dollar was paramount. You know, everything you did was based off time versus how much money you could make, or whatever you did was like, well, if I had to spend $60 to make this video, I needed to make $80. You know, you looked at everything like that in ergonomics, and, you know, it works for businesses. Like when you run a fast food joint, you got to have food versus labor. You got to have that. That's keys to a successful business. But I don't think that's the key to a successful YouTube channel. It might be, but I'm not very good at it. That's why I started doing things like the Final Fantasy VII series, and, you know, just sharing stuff that I'm good at. I mean, people have been asking me to do a blind Let's Play of Dark Souls. I might attempt that now. I'm not trying to say I'm changing, but I'm trying to say I understand that things aren't as bad as I make them out to be sometimes. Because the real true gift you have in life is life itself. And, you know, this infection thing, I mean, it could have got real serious real quick. I mean, like, it was MRSA. That's what it was. You know, some people are like, oh, you only can get that from hospitals. Like, no, it's a strain of staph, and, like, MRSA is something that you don't really mess with. It's something that will kill you and kill you quick. That's why after only 3 days, it had pretty much taken over my entire lower stomach. It was growing bad, and it was growing fast. It was growing, I mean, it surprised doctors. And it's humbling. It is. Medical problems humble you. And I feel like I felt like I was in this zone of my life where I felt entitled. And feeling entitled and being entitled are two different things. and you know, it makes you slow down and just take it a little bit more easy and enjoy the things. There's stuff that I still like about myself. Like, I'm never gonna be a kind of guy that plays aggressively in Call of Duty. It's just not my play style. It's not how I enjoy doing things. I like to play games a certain way. I do. Like, even like in other games. Like, oh man, I went on this binge where I played Operation Raccoon City forever. Man, my buddy Magmar played with me, and I always loved the field scientist, and Magmar knew I liked the field scientist because he never complained when I played that character. But I love the idea that I can control enemies and I can help take out the hard enemies. You know, and it's like, boom, oh, I just took the challenge away from us, Magmar, and it made me feel good that I used my brain instead of just raw reflexes. I guess that's why I enjoyed games like Final Fantasy and, you know, Fallout. I mean, Fallout's a shooter game, but it's more along the lines of how can we do this the best way possible, and I really like that. I think that's what drew me to StarCraft when I was a kid. But StarCraft has a lot of Twitch in it as well, and a lot of micromanagement, managing your units, moving them in battle, moving them back, and stuff like that. And once I got to that level, I didn't enjoy it as much. And I think competitive, everybody has a level cap on what they consider in competitive to the point it just isn't fun. And I think you don't have to be, you know, Impact or Epsilon, or you don't have to be Optic or the Green Wall. I feel like all you need to do is hit that point where you've challenged yourself to the point where if you go any further, you stop enjoying the game, and that's where you should stop playing. Well, it's been your boy Wings of Redemption. Thank you for watching my video, and leave me a comment. Thank you guys. Peace. You know, some things are really strange in life. One of those things would be the Washington Redskins. As a boy, the Washington Redskins was a team that was kind of iconic. I feel that they're probably still iconic to this day. Everybody knows that it's the Dallas Cowboys versus the Washington Redskins, Cowboys and Indians. Well, recently, I even seen Obama blamed for it, that the Washington Redskins had lost the trademark on their name, thus forcing them to either not be able to make money off their name or change the team name altogether. Let's go ahead and delve into this. Is the Washington Redskins a racist term? The following commentary will most likely have some racially insensitive words and usage during this commentary. It is by no means hated, it's more to illustrate points, and there's actually no means or derogatory forces behind them other than usage of the word themselves. So let's go ahead and get on with it. Should the Washington Redskins change their name? Well, I think they should, because their name is racially insensitive. You couldn't pass that off on any other minority out there without having some social backlash. And the reason that is because the Native American Indians, or the American Indians, were genocided. And I'm not talking about what we did to Iraq. I'm talking about Nazi Germany genocided. The white man killed them all and took their land, and that's the reason these things got passed in the first point. Because there's no political party for Native Americans back when the Washington Redskins filed for a copyright. Probably the same thing for the Atlanta Braves or the Cleveland Indians. I understand that the idea or the means does not bring hate. The idea, when you hear somebody say the Washington Redskins, automatically think about the football team. You don't think about Native Americans. You don't think about the racially insensitive things about Native Americans. But let's look at it this way. Imagine if there was a basketball team called the New York Niggers. That right there would be in an uproar. The reason being, black people are still predominant and they're still out there and they haven't been genocided and their culture hasn't been destroyed for the efforts of land. They have a political power, they have political voice, and everything else, and it would be in an uproar. You and everybody else that probably listened to this commentary would riot in the streets until they change the name of this basketball team. Or let's just say it. How about the Seattle Chinks? You know, Asian people still have political power. They're there. You know, these are things that you have to take into account. Redskins is a derogatory term. Here's the thing I don't get about it. Understand that the guy didn't want to change the name because it costs money to change team names and logos when there's obviously stuff out there that's long-standing. But on the flip side of it, you're most likely going to make money with a name change. It's going to revive new people into it. You have a restart, a fresh cycle. Hell, even get a fresh stadium out of it probably. I'm sure you can convince somebody to give you a stadium and move the Redskins out of Washington, or hell, even have Washington build you another stadium, just like the Atlanta Braves is having Atlanta build them another stadium when their current stadium is only 14 years old. It's just, make a positive spin on it. Why do you have to keep a racially insensitive name? Part of me wants to say, I don't give a fuck, man, because I don't care if the Washington Redskins are named the Washington Redskins, but I can understand where people would care. Just imagine if you were Native American and you watched your whole people get pretty much beat down, destroyed, and isolated to a section of land and told them they should be happy, and then there's sports teams out there named derogatory names, such as the ones I've already implemented in this video. That's my opinion on the Washington Redskins and their name change. Do you guys agree with me? Let me know in the comment section below. As always, thank you guys for watching my videos. And I'm Audi 5000. Peace, pimps. What's up, everybody? It's your boy Wings for Redemption, and I'm back, and I'm bringing you audio commentary today on Kill Confirmed. I'm using a really odd setup. Well, odd for the most, MLG elite players that I seem to talk to. But this is a red dot and a heartbeat sensor. You'd be like, oh, Wings heartbeat sensor, you scrub. Yeah, I use a heartbeat sensor. And let me go ahead and throw the pros and cons of the heartbeat sensor out, to be perfectly honest. How many times it doesn't work against assassin? So right there, 50% of people won't even show up on it. And that means you can't trust it at all. So a heartbeat sensor, if you use it incorrectly, actually can be a hindrance to your game than a help. But on the flip side of it, the heartbeat sensor does scan at a 180 degree angle, or like a 160 degree angle, so it can catch people sneaking up on you. And the reason I use it on like the M4 and the G36C is because you can ADS and still be able to see the heartbeat monitor. So that's a pro tip for that one. And today the video is not really going to talking about the gameplay. There's more going to be like a video with Shalene, since Shalene has been feeling really bad for the last 3 weeks. And I'm going to give it off to her right now and let her talk about how she's pretty much been doing and what she's actually going through.
Okay, well, I've told I've had to stop scratching because a mic will pick it up, but my medicine makes me very itchy, so I'm trying not to itch right now. So if you hear scratching, I'm sorry, but I'm itchy. Well, we went to MUSC because I wasn't feeling well, and the eye doctor said I had no choice at this point. And they admitted me to the hospital, and what did they do? They gave me an MRI and an MRV, and what an MRV is, basically it's an MRI, but they shoot dye into your head, into the veins of your head, to see if there's blood clots or anything like that. And that all came out clear. There's no tumor, no blood clots, but they told me I have pseudo-tumor cerebri. And they did a lumbar puncture, and that's been, I felt great the day they did the lumbar puncture, but the day after that I felt horrible. Like I felt 40 times worse than what I did when I went in. Like I could not pick my head up. I couldn't move. Basically, unless I was laying down, I could not get any relief from my headache. So I went to the emergency room here, and they said to take these pain pills and drink caffeine. Well, that's been about a week ago now, and I'm finally starting to get a little bit better, but it's been a very rocky road and very, very tiring. Like I'm really tired all the time from the medications, so getting acclimated to the medication is something that's going to take a little bit longer, but sorry guys, told ya. But we wanted to say thank you to that you keep supporting the channel, because I know the channel's been everywhere since I got sick, and Wings has been taking care of me very, very well. So that's why he's not been, everything's been everywhere, because he's been taking care of me and the kids and the house and the dogs, and he's been doing everything plus what I do. So we just want to say thank you for supporting the channel, and we hope you keep supporting the channel. And now that I'm starting to feel better, hopefully things get back to normal. But you know, it's just been really crazy, and so we hope that everything gets back to normal really, really soon.
You want to talk about your taste buds?
Oh yeah, Diamox apparently makes you lose your taste buds. So like I don't have taste for soda. Like soda tastes like carbonated dirt to me. What else was really funky? Hot sauce tastes really funky to me. Like some of them taste really buttery and thick and gross, and some of them just taste really peppery, like it'll send your tongue off. It's really weird. My taste buds are all over the place. I have bruises from head to toe from the hospital. Like, I have bruises. I look like a junkie. I swear to God, I look like a junkie. I've got bruises all over my arms from IVs. I've got this really big bruise on my stomach from one of the leads. They put an EKG machine on me. So I'm like all abused from the hospitals as well. And it's really tough getting acclimated to a medicine that I've never had be on any kind of medication for long periods of time like this. So if you have any tips on how to get my taste buds back, someone said bananas, but that's not really doing the trick. So let me know, definitely, because it's so weird. What else was weird?
I was wondering I know we've had a couple guys that have been sending us messages talking about how they've been dealing with pseudotumor cerebri, but I've yet to see anything to consider this a lifelong condition. Is anybody out there have any experience with it, and can you beat it? Like, is it something that you're going to take Diamox for the rest of your life? Because the Diamox is like $200 a pop.
Well, the doctor said that it's possible, but it's not likely that you'll grow out of it. He said kids are more likely to grow out of it than adults, but I don't know. We'll just have to go with the flow.
It's also very unlikely to win the lottery, but people do it. I'm wondering if anybody out there has actually had this and beat it, because like say this for example, you get through this. How long does that spinal tap last? Like, how long till you start feeling bad again, and you have to get spinal tapped again and go through these 2 weeks of torture again? Like, is that a routine for every day of the rest of your life? Like, just doesn't seem like it's very fair.
The Diamox is supposed to help prevent from me getting another spinal tap and stuff like that. It's supposed to help decrease the pressure in my head and keep it down. But I don't know. We'll just have to go with the flow and see what happens. See if I grow out of it. See if I don't. I don't know. I know this is like a no joke kind of disease though. Like, it sounds like nothing, but it sucks. It sucks ass, big time. It's no fun at all.
What's up, everybody? It's your boy Wings of Redemption. And I just want to talk about where my channel's at right now. I mean, my channel is doing well. It's doing what it used to do again and all this. But there's one thing that always bothers me with it is just the lack of direction that my channel actually has. Like, I mean, for the most part, I talk over gameplay, and the reason that is because it's the easiest way to get multiple videos out a day. And for the most part, I'm talking over gameplay of a game I don't even like. I mean, it's not that Modern Warfare 3 is a horrible game. It's just not very fun to play for a long period of time. Like, I don't see how some people have gotten like 20 of prestige. I mean, if you take both of my accounts into account, I've gotten to 12th prestige. And 12th prestige, and like, even then I'm like, sometimes you just gotta assign yourself powering through. I think it has a lot to do with the play style. I've been trying to play a little bit more aggressive to see if the game would get a little bit more fun, but for the most part, it gets annoying. I mean, rushing is fun at times when you're doing well. It's super fun. But the fact is, how many times have you like got to the spot where you wanted to be rushing, you're about to do, and then somebody dead man hands you, and all of a sudden you spawn on the other side of the fucking map. Now you spend half the map getting back over there, and that in itself is annoying. That's why you see me using the attack insert right here, because I was trying to play for a little bit more aggressive gameplay. I kind of switched about midway through. I don't think in the game itself, right here's where I get fucking shit on. Like, don't you hate that right there, where you wait on somebody so long, and then as soon as you fucking move, here they come. But the attack insert saves me and scores me a couple more kills. So I end up putting it back. I try to put the attack insert a little bit further away than I normally would want to. Mainly to try to just conceal it. Because don't you just hate getting killed and getting killed again with the attack insert? I know I do. But like, it seems like there's a lack of agenda. Like, I mean, I've always wanted to be one of those channels that had, constantly fresh gameplay where it just came easy like it used to. It used to come real easy to me because when I started out in World of War, I knew everything about World of War. I enjoyed playing the game. I played it for fun. I played it for fun before I even started doing YouTube, and like I learned everything there was about the game. And I would just find myself hanging out on it just to chill out. And I feel like there's people still doing the hanging out thing on like Call of Duty, but I feel like I'm playing the game just to play the game, just because I have to. Like, I don't really want to be in that scenario. That's why I tried to do the branch off, last month with the Amnesia Let's Play, and nobody really got into it. But Let's Plays in themselves, Let's Plays are the most profitable thing on YouTube. Don't get me wrong. If I was a money whore, I would be doing Let's Plays. And you might see the difference, like, oh, your COD videos get 20 to 35K. Well, how are they not? Well, you understand, like, yeah, my COD videos get 20 or 30K, but there's only like 2 of them a day. Whereas a Let's Play might get 10K, and there's 6 of them a day. See how it is? And they have a longer long tail because you do more games. Like, how many times can you watch somebody play this game before it's like, oh, here's this shit again? Like, as you're watching this game right now, what's standing out in this game so far? Not a damn thing. You're seeing what you could normally see. And that's just what it is. I mean, like, it bothers me because my channel has no direction no more, because mainly the way the maps are set up on this game, you can't really define strategies. Like back in World of War, things I would do is I was teaching people, to try to score those 2 extra skills by standing still, to try to showing spots on war to basically get big kill streaks going, how to get the dogs running on war, things like that. I'd show people how to kill tanks, effective ways to use tanks on different maps. I mean, World of War had so many extra variables, and then Modern Warfare 2 came out. I was running the kill leaderboard, and I was just getting these huge ground war kill games, and even then, that was exciting. Then I created the Rifleman C series, so I'd play with different weapons to try to get them, try to get big kill games with them, and then I'd give the history to them. Even then, channel still had direction. And then Black Ops came out. Black Ops, I had the Ghost Hunter series, I had the Beast Mode Engage series, I had all these other things. And like Modern Warfare 3, I just always feeling stumped when I'm playing. I know this might seem like a bitching video, but trust me, it's really not a bitching video. And like you see right here, I'm using the sentry gun, trying to get it so I'm doing something different. And like I'm so afraid of it just going stale. Like I don't know. It just comes with these constant variables, and then I see good ideas, like the idea that Woody is doing right now, blowing stuff up in the microwave. That seems like a cool idea, and I'm like, man, I wish I thought of that first. Basically, what I'm trying to say is it's getting harder and harder to do just gameplay commentary, because I mean, like the last month, I've pretty much relied on the news to give me topics, because there's really nothing to talk about in Call of Duty anymore. I mean, like, when is the next game coming out? When's the next, thing? Like, what's gonna blow up? I mean, like, the reason I'm going through this, I know I'm stuttering at this point and I'm stumbling on my words, is Diablo 3 is coming out. And I know Diablo 3 is not going to be a big video. You know why Diablo 3 is not going to be a big video? I put out 2 beta videos, and they combined got like, one sitting at like 13,000, one sitting at 20,000. That's 30,000 on the video. Obviously, I put them out at bad times too, but I mean, I'm just watching the videos themselves. Like, I can understand there's going to be tips and tricks just like Skyrim is, but Diablo 3 is not going to be one of those things that's going to be you can launch off of for a while. And It's just not a game that lends itself to that. And I'm going to be playing Diablo 3, and it's going to be chewing up a lot of my time. And I'm like wondering, how can I get to the point where I can kind of have a balance in my life between making content that you guys want to see versus content that I want to actually do. And that's the barrier in me. I mean, for the most part, I'm a gamer at heart. I mean, like, unlike a lot of people, I'm a serious gamer. I play a lot of things. And Call of Duty isn't one of them. Like, you can kind of tell when I put gameplay out and I haven't played Call of Duty in a while. Like this one, for example, I will be sloppy on the irons. Like, I haven't touched an Xbox controller in almost a month. And then I played 4 or 5 games today, and this is one of the games that I played. And I did this one mainly because it's a little different than the norm you'll see on my channel. I mean, I'm tack inserting. I'm using sentry guns. I actually never get to use my sentry guns, but I'm trying to be in a higher traffic area and trying to keep advantage of it. Oh, look at that! I end up getting him with hip fire. But I don't know. Maybe you guys could help me out. Like, what's some fresh ideas that could spark multiple videos? That's basically what I'm asking. I mean, like, I have a Diablo 3 history coming up later today, and it's basically based on a 1v1 on Dome that I had last night. And I think the 1v1 on Dome was very entertaining, but, you know, obviously those are only a couple videos deep. And, you know, I don't expect that video to get more than maybe 15,000 views because, to be honest, I have a first-person shooter channel, and I'm just not in love with the first-person shooter genre no more. What would you guys do if you were in my shoes? That's what I'm basically asking. It's been your boy Wings of Redemption, and as always, if you could please leave a rating, it would help me out tremendously. Love you guys, and I'm out at 5,000 pimps. Peace.